Hi, y'all. I'm Jo, your host and cannabis lifestyle guide, and welcome to another episode of Roll With Me. Today, I've got Daniel Fink of Down Home Farms in Grass Valley joining me. Daniel, thanks so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, this is fun. I know it's we're into September. It's harvest season, so I know you're busy out there on the farm. So I'm excited for our smoke sesh. I know you've got some very good skills to share with me today because you are one of the OGs. How long have you been growing cannabis, Daniel?
I've been growing cannabis since I was a kid. I think I grew my first plant when I was about 13 years old. I definitely don't consider myself an OG. It's the people I learned from that are the true OGs.
Well, when you tell me you've been growing cannabis for 20 years, to me, that makes you got way more skills than most people I know. So, take it as a compliment. I appreciate where you're coming from on that. Um,
Thank you.
so yeah, I see a giant cola on your OCB rolling tray. So show me what you got going on there.
Yeah, we got some cherry punch, freshly harvested here at Down Home Farms. This is grown in our greenhouses. We use all living soil, hugelkultur methods, and makes really good herb. It's pretty chunky. Give you a little glimpse of it.
Very nice. I
Looking
just want to
pretty good.
smell it.
It does smell fantastic. We got lots of chocolate and cherry and chocolate overtones. And this is the raw form. This is untrimmed. Most people don't usually see it in its untrimmed form.
Yes, that's definitely the good stuff that you get out there on the farm. So that's what you're going to be rolling today, I assume.
Absolutely. Yeah,
All
it's one of my
right.
favorites.
Well, and I'm into this. My daytime cannabis these days has been Chili Verde from Highline Nursery. A friend of mine, when I was up in Eureka, popped over and gave me a sample pack of a lot of different flower. And so I've got this. Mine is not nearly as impressive looking as yours, but this, I don't know if it's just the mind, thing, but it smells savory to me. And I'm like, is it just because it's called Chili Verde that I think it smells savory? But I'm really digging
No,
it right
that
now.
strain is really amazing. Chili Verde is truly a savory strain, and it is really good. There's such a wide array of flavors that's available in cannabis these days, and that's really exciting to me. I
One
like
of
all the
the
flavors.
Yeah, all the flavors of Taste the Rainbow. One of them that I got was pancakes, and another farmer friend of mine, they're growing that right now as well. And um, I didn't realize, but it is like a night strain. Like that stuff puts me to bed, and I'm like, well, this is a strange name. I mean, I feel like I should be starting my day with pancakes, but I'm ending it.
Yeah, yeah, it's so interesting. I mean, every strain affects people very, very differently, and the names don't always have a lot to do with the effect. The names at this point are just a result of the parentage, what it was bred for. Uh,
Yes.
to find the strain that has the effect I like just simply requires a lot of testing.
Yes, which is what we're doing right now, right?
This is research and development right here.
Should be getting paid extra for this. So I am a lightweight. I microdose, and I had been rolling with the OCB 1.25 inch papers. And as I was unpacking in my new studio, I found these little single wide papers. And they're perfect for like a little single, rosette. And so I have been having fun, rolling these little minis. Um, but I'm excited to get some rolling tips from you today, Daniel. If you grew
Yeah.
your first flower at age 13, I feel like you were probably rolling joints right after that harvest.
Oh, I certainly was. Yeah, I love cannabis. Cannabis has always been a medicine for me, and I'm a heavy user. I roll 10 or 20 joints a day. And whereas you say you like little micro ones, I make very, very large joints, basically as much as I could fit in there. Um, Pardon the noise. I'm actually going to use my grinder real quick, and it makes just a bit of noise.
I I've seen those at some of the cannabis conferences, but I have not purchased one. Right
It's got a
on.
chain that spins,
Uh-huh.
and it works very, very well. It makes a nice consistency. It's very quick. I like it a lot.
Right on. So, how long does that last without needing to be cleaned? Like, if you're rolling 20 joints a day, how often do you clean that grinder?
Going on 3 years.
Shut the front door. Okay, I'm
It
into
it
that.
kind of like, I mean, it spins really fast. It kind of cleans itself a little bit. It has a rechargeable battery on it, and for somebody that smokes 10 or 20 joints a day, it is the most useful tool I have.
Yes. So, drop a brand name on me. Who makes those?
This is made by Wackit, Wakit, and I'll be honest, I got it thinking it would last a few months, and now going on a couple years, I've been pretty impressed with it. So
Nice. Whack it.
yeah.
Okay. We'll check that out. Um, all right. So that's already the first hot tip. I hadn't had one of those. So you use the whack it, and what is your? Now I can't call you an OG because you. So what is your? What's your tip for me?
Okay, all right. So here's how I've been rolling joints since I was a full-time farmer, and that's using
Okay.
a piece of parchment paper, not wax paper, uh, specifically parchment paper because it doesn't leave any residue. And just like a rolling machine kind of forms the cannabis into a cone shape and then wraps the paper around it, I do the same thing with this parchment paper. So you can see I've got my paper, my rolling paper here, my parchment paper
Mm-hmm.
here, and the parchment paper is just a little bit more narrow than the rolling paper. Okay, from there, collect your ground cannabis, and I put it on top of the rolling paper, which is on top of the parchment paper.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Shape it a little bit into a vague cone shape, and then I just wrap the parchment paper around the cannabis. Let's try this angle, and I roll it back and forth in my fingers, forming the cone shape of the joint. Okay, back and forth. Once I've formed the cone shape, I'm pulling the rolling paper out and then just cleaning it up a little bit, closing it up. And you get a very, very clean, very large joint. And it's really packed in there very tightly, and they burn very evenly. I'll use a little tool to fix it up a little bit. And
So
that is how she goes.
how much material do you use in a single joint?
Oh gosh. Sometimes my joints are pushing an eighth. I put a lot of material in there. I'm a farmer and I love cannabis. One of the main reasons that I choose to grow cannabis as a profession is because I love it and I love smoking big, gigantic joints. And so that's kind of my privilege as a farmer. But the same method can work for a smaller joint. This one is probably about 1.5 to 2 grams. But with a smaller rolling paper and a smaller piece of parchment, the same method works phenomenally. I'll say as a kid, I used to, yeah.
So hold the That's hilarious. Oh, I love it. Yes.
Hey, it gets
So
us all to the same place,
that's
right?
right. The microdoser and the farmer meet up for a smoke sesh. I dig it.
Well,
Oh my gosh.
cheers.
Yes. Salute. So I am I'm totally into my oh shoot, lighter.
Nice. Yeah, and another reason I started doing the parchment, other than that it makes a superior joint, is that as a farmer, my hands were often dirty, and I didn't want to be handling the cannabis or the joint more than I needed to, and I wanted to be able to medicate when I'm in the field. So I
Mhm.
run off the field, I'm able to roll a quick joint and get back to work.
Yeah, it's funny when I go to farms and I visit my farmer friends, their hands are completely filthy. There's just, everything sticks to them. So that's a pretty solid move you got there.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Especially during harvest season, it gets very, very sticky. Sometimes we're resin is sticky up to our elbows. If you're smart, you cover yourself and you wear rubber gloves. 'Cause it can be overwhelming. It gets a little bit messy, all for the love of
So,
the plant.
so tell me, you're in Grass Valley right now. There's been, the wildfires. What's life like right now?
It's a really good question. Today, thankfully, the air is clear. The sky is blue because the winds are blowing eastward. But it's hair raising. It's very scary. We've had dozens of small fires very, very close to the farm. Fortunately, they were put out, but then we've got 2 very, very large fires within an hour's drive. And some days we're covered in smoke, and I'm wearing a respirator just to do my work outside. And some days it's clear and blue and beautiful, but we're constantly on edge. Every time an airplane flies overhead, I'm immediately checking the internet and seeing if there's a fire nearby. Um, yeah, it keeps the stress level high, to say the
So
least.
what do farmers around there do to prepare? Like I have a flash of, whenever I was a child, I grew up on a ranch in West Texas, and there was a fire, and my dad and my uncle got on tractors and just started plowing and plowing around to try to create a barrier. So, is that something that the farmers are doing? How do y'all help the firemen? What's that all about?
That's a really good question, and I've got some good answers for it. So as a permitted farmer, as a licensed farmer, we all have to have fire safe road access.
Mhm.
So all permitted farms have done extra fire clearance on their driveways, on the roads leading to their property, and we do that so as to invite a fire truck up a road easily. If the brush is overgrowing the road the entire way through and you're really deep in the forest, that's dangerous for a firefighter, for a fire truck to go in. And so that's one thing. I myself keep a very, very clean property. I spend all winter cutting brush and dead limbing and removing fire dangerous materials and wood chipping. I use all that wood chip to make compost and worm castings and build my soils. Uh, a lot of people typically have burned that material. I'd rather not burn it. I'd rather sequester the carbon. And so I'm stacking functions there, not only doing lots of fire mitigation, clearing brush, but also building my soils in the process. I've got some animals that are my helpers here on the farm, a whole bunch of chickens and a small number of alpaca. And so they help eat the brush and the grass and everything. And so all of those things together add up to trying to be as fire safe as possible on the farm.
Yeah, I love it. And I've seen some pictures of those alpaca on your social feed. Not only are they good helpers, but they're cute. Oh my
They
gosh,
are
I
super
love them. I
cute.
want to hang out with them.
They want to hang out with you. They're funny characters. They are my companions. They are my mascot. They are my lawnmowers and my soil machines. So I'm very, very grateful that I get to share this land with these funny creatures. And yeah, if you look on my social media, Instagram, Down Home Farms, you can see pictures of them with funny haircuts. Every springtime, we give them funny haircuts, and it's a lot of fun.
Oh my gosh, I can't wait. Now, one thing that I do want to tease here is that I'm going to have you on an episode of the podcast coming up, and we're going to do a deep dive into sustainability and how craft cannabis farmers are doing it and getting it done, and how we can support you as consumers. But I would like a little sneak peek. I know you are part of the Grass Valley Farmers Co-op,
Mm-hmm.
um,
Yeah.
and I think you started that, right? Or you helped start it. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you for asking. I was one of the co-founders of Grass Valley Growers Cooperative, which is an actual registered cannabis cooperative. 10 small family farms here in Nevada County, all joined up together to have a brand and try and get our name out there to the world. We kind of knew that as small farms were little fish in a big sea, and with the new way legislation and legalization is working out, it's hard to be a small farm. So we joined up together and we made Grass Valley Growers Cooperative, and our product is available from Tahoe to Nevada City to Sacramento, and hopefully even further. You can also check them out on Instagram, GVG Co-op on Instagram. And then another brand that I'm really proud to be a part of is Farm Cut. Farm Cut is similar to a cooperative. It's 5 separate family farms, myself in Nevada County, and 2 farms in Mendocino and 2 farms in Humboldt. We're all Sun and Earth certified. And what Farm Cut is you get your weed like that. It's directly from the farm, big chunky pieces, unprocessed, minimally processed, and it comes in a big mason jar. And so it's as close to the farm direct experience as possible. And those are the 2 groups that I'm a part of, and you can find those products throughout the state.
I love that. And that's exactly how I get my flour from my farmer friends. And so I have seen the Farm Cut brand online, but I haven't shopped it yet. I haven't seen it in a store. So I am on the lookout for that. I really love it. And I appreciate you sharing a smoke sesh with me today. And I'll see you on the podcast in another couple of weeks.
Awesome. Thank you so much. It's
Now,
been fun.
totally. Let me see if there's questions in the comment section. Arnav isn't here, so I'm wearing all the hats. How Okay, I see a question from the Irishman that I don't get, and so I don't want to say it out loud because I don't know if he's just making I'm a dingbat, and if somebody could be making a joke. Can you see the comments, Daniel? Read that.
I don't think I can see it.
On the right-hand side, do you see a thing that says comments?
Okay, let's see. Oh, okay.
What does that mean?
Okay, so what he asked is, how do I put the banana blended in my water? And then he said, banana helps in flour, correct? Do they talk or respond here? Okay, so what he's talking about is using banana liquefied as a fertilizer. And so bananas, we know for humans, provide potassium, potash, which is one of the essential macronutrients for plants as well. So there are methods to ferment your bananas, banana peels, or if you have an excess of bananas, you can ferment them and liquefy it and feed it to your plants. And yes, that would be good for flour. But there might be other easier ways to feed your plants. Unless you have a massive abundance of bananas, in which case, go for it.
Well, what would be your alternative suggestion to that?
Well, so if he's seeking potash or potassium, you can actually make your own potash. That's the very fine ash that is found at the bottom of your wood stove in the winter, for example. Or also here in California, sometimes we have the opportunity to go to the ocean and harvest kelp. If you live near an ocean, kelp is high in potash, but ash is literally potassium. But again, if you've got an abundance of bananas, that's an awesome thing. That would be from the realm of Korean natural farming, KNF farming, which is super cool. I'd love to talk more about this.
Yeah, we will bring this conversation over to our podcast where it'll be in long form. But it's so funny
Cool.
because I'm reading that, and the other day I saw a video of a woman saying, before you go to bed at night, to make banana tea, and it was taking the banana peel, pouring hot water over it, and that should help with like inflammation and like whatever when you're sleeping, help you sleep better. So I was like, this could be a potential real question, or it could be somebody making fun of me. I don't know. So anyway, it was real. Thank you. I've had some really weird questions on here, so I get confused sometimes. And I
It's
get
all
high,
good. Yeah.
Daniel. And then I'm like, what? So anyway, all right. Well, thank you. The Irishman, I apologize for questioning your integrity. Daniel got you covered. And if y'all want to roll with me, you can see at the bottom of the screen, get your rolling supplies at ocbusa.com. You can get a rolling tray, 4 packs of papers for $4.99. The value of the bundle is $20, but the rolling skills and street cred you're going to earn is priceless. See, we got the feminine pink. He's got, that manly black thing going on. And, OCB has got a full line of papers, and they are a good company and they're doing things sustainably. And so that's why I roll with them. And thank you for rolling with me. All right, y'all. Thanks for hanging out. And now I'm doing Arnav's job. Okay, outro.